Juana, the entire art center for, again, somehow trusting me to actually do something like this in their space. Every time I've done a show, I always kind of wonder why people trust me, and for some reason they continue to trust me and say, okay, go right ahead. And this whole project started out of me commuting from St. Peter to Mankato and being bored during it. And during that time of commuting, I would just count the flags or count the crucifixes or count the McDonald's or count whatever multiple imagery there was, just because it becomes white noise in many ways, and we don't actually see it. But on one specific trip in September from St. Peter to Mankato, I counted 43 flags. Now, albeit there is a house that I drive by that has 6 flags on it. I don't know if you guys know it. It's St. Peter. It's on Front Street, and it's great. I love it. But it just got an idea in my head of just like, of all the things that we pass by every day that we don't see, and why that is, and especially why the American flag. Why has it become white noise to us, or at least to me? Sorry if I'm saying us when I mean me. So I just started thinking about it, and I had a show, and it had a bunch of Jesus in it, and it had a house, and for some reason I thought, well, where can I get flags? This would be nice, Jesus and a house and flags. It's America to me. And I called my good friend Leah Langdon, who was a longtime vet in Afghanistan and helped me out with the murals in Eagle Lake. And she said, well, call the city of St. Peter. I'm sure they have tons of them. So I called the Public Works office, and they had 70 of them. And I never realized that, I never really given any consideration or thought that once a flag is, tattered or decommissioned, that it has to be turned in somewhere before it's burned. I didn't know there was a middleman. I just thought that, you had a bonfire one night and you didn't like the flag, so you tossed it in and you said, all right, cool. Set the Star Spangled Banner and you were done with it. And that's just what it was. And it just sparked something. I said, okay, if I can get 70 flags from the city of St. Peter that has 11,000 people in it, well then, what does Mankato have that has 60,000? What does Minneapolis and St. Paul have that have a combined, 600,000? I don't even know.
I don't know.
So every year, these flags get decommissioned and burned in ceremony. So I just started calling legions and asking if I could have that flags before we started to burn them, or before they decided to burn them. And the results were just a resounding yes. Just the only rules were I take all of them, every single one of them, and going into the basements of legions, hallways were blocked off with them. They smelled, they were in poor condition, they were on the floor. And personally, in many ways, I wouldn't consider myself necessarily a patriot by quotations, by stereotype. I'm not, I don't wake up and wave the flag for 30 minutes before I go to work in the morning. I don't eat steak for breakfast, steak for lunch, and steak for dinner by stereotype. But I had a concern, and as someone who's a tried and true dumpster diver, I wanted to just do something else with these rather than just burn them. In an objective sense, they are cotton and they are nylon. They are fabric. I'm not a textile artist, but I knew that there's something that you can do with these, and that you can efficiently do something with these. I mean, sure, necessarily, you can make a hammock out of these. You can make bedspreads out of these. You can make shower curtains out of these. But our rules and our code from our United States Flag Code say we can't. That once the flag is done, it must be burnt. I find that wasteful. I find that ill-conceived, and I find that irresponsible. So this project is not necessarily about waste. It's not necessarily about responsible usage of materials. I don't want to say that, because there are patriotic ideologies and there are patriotic interpretations that can be taken from this show. And there could be anti-American sentiments that can be taken from the show. And I would never want anybody, even if someone were to take it wrongly, I never want to remove that from somebody's idea. I never want to say that this is what the show is about. To me, this show is about the responsible use of material. To anybody else, you can interpret it as however you please. If you think that I'm an anti-American asshole who wants to desecrate the flag by putting it in the gallery, go right ahead. And there are plenty of people who are doing it right now. And that is perfectly their choice and their option. But to me, it was the idea of taking our American flag, getting it out of the basement of someplace that is just sitting in, soaking up dust and soaking up mold and soaking up blown up kegs, and doing something with it that might be beautiful to somebody, making some use out of it, because to me, that's what I find America to be. And that's what I find the most out of Americans that I can actually relate to, is that we take what we have and we make the best of it. We're not the best in the country, we're not the best in the world, we're not the best in the state. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It's that we take what we have and we make the best of it. And that's what I try to do. So to me, when I'm using the American flag, if there was any patriotic ideology to it, is that the reuse and the resubstance of other people's materials is the best that I can come up with. Some of these flags were draped over caskets. Some of these flags wove in your second grade child's classroom in 1996. Some of these flags might have flown from your house. Some of these flags might have flown from your grandmother's and grandfather's houses. Some of these flags were a teenager's angsty decision to try and burn them. Every single one of them has a different story, and if you look at them and you look at them interestingly, or if you look at them inquisitively, you can find the marks that it might have been. These flags came from Perkins. Right?
Perkins.
These flags, the 3x5 standards, are your residential flags. The 9-foot by 5-foot flag sitting dead center is by definition a casket flag. And I do not use those without the weight of actually knowing that. Part of this process was me learning about it. Part of this process was me figuring out what the hell does a flag actually mean. Because it's not just a definition of country anymore. If it was, why does a Ford dealership have it? It's a symbol for something. I don't know, because it changes with everybody. But I'm still trying to figure it out myself. This was a question that I wanted to find to solve. This is a personal question that I had that I wanted to solve. Did it take filling how many thousand square feet to actually figure it out? No, because I haven't figured it out yet. I still don't know what the American flag means to me. But I try to make something pretty badass, and I try to hope that people would enjoy it at the same time, you know? That we could look at our flags in a different manner than just, yay, America, and then time to burn it. You know, maybe we can do something else with it. Maybe that's the American way. I don't know. How many minutes is that? Is that over 10? Am I boring you?
7 minutes.
8 minutes.
8? Okay.
So
I got one more thing.
7:14.
I have one more thing to say. It should take 2 minutes and this stuff. The show did not come without conflict and controversy. I've received vague and direct threats against my well-being. Me standing in the dead center right now makes me pretty damn nervous. And I always wondered why. I expected it, but why? What is it about our flag that cannot be used by me or somebody else in the arts culture? What is it that we have chosen to define ourselves and say that the flag is to be flown in front of somebody's yard, the flag is okay to be worn by our Olympic athletes, the flag is okay to be worn by supermodels in bikinis, but I get death threats when this is shown. And I'm not saying that I'm in any special case, but where's the double standard? And why do we have certain exceptions to our flag code allowed? And in other regards, all of a sudden I become like the most scrutinized American flag artist that there is right now. And that's another thing. What does the flag actually mean to each and every person? That's, to me, what this show tries to embody as much as possible, is that, if anything, it makes you think about it. It might actually make you think, what is the flag to me? Because it's a symbol, but it's not a symbol of country anymore. It's a symbol of culture. That's obvious. I have it around here somewhere. How much time? I got another minute?
Mm-hmm.
You got another minute of your attention span? This was given to me by my girlfriend. She got this at a carnival. A 9-year-old was actually holding it, and she bought it from him for $5. Budweiser has changed their beer to the name America. Surly, the brewing company in Minneapolis, has come out with a beer called #America. But that's okay. That isn't disrespectful. That isn't worthy of death threats. But like honestly, this is probably the most ironic object right now in America, and I'm holding it. And this passed through a company's production line. I mean, sure, this is kind of funny, but still, it's ridiculous. And in many ways, we are ridiculous because of that. I'm not saying that America is a bad place because of it. part of all of this is a reaction to that, of like this very, 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 if not non-existent line between satire and sincerity. Are we making fun of the flag? Are we making fun of America? Are we making fun of who we are? Or are we embracing who we are in a ridiculous way? Is it making fun of America to wear a pair of board shorts that are red, white, and blue? Or are you embracing it? Or is it all the context of what you say on Facebook about them? I don't know anymore. That's why I tried to figure it out. And that's why I failed at figuring it out, because it's a question that probably can't be solved. But it happens in my brain every single day. It's because we see Americana imagery every single day. So fill the space and try and figure it out. And I still can't figure it out, but at least I gave it a shot. That's the point of the show. Thank you so much for showing me out. Thank you very much for not shooting me. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.